Hello and welcome on in Unity community. Welcome to another official live stream here on twitch.tv/Unity and of course the Unity YouTube page. My name is Jackson. I'm one of your community managers and it is my job to bring you the newest, the latest and greatest in live stream content here on these channels. Thank you so much for joining us this week of Steam Next Fest, our Steam Next Fest live stream. It's been a mouthful. We've been working on it. We've got it together. Very excited to have you all here as we are going to be sitting down with a handful of developers chatting about their demos and playing through them alongside them. If you guys have any questions with the about the games that we're going to be playing, questions for the creators, please feel free to let us know. We would love to connect you all here. Of course, the content that we bring you here on these channels every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, that's 5 p.m. GMT, is meant to inspire, educate, inform, and connect you with the broader Unity community. If you like that, make sure to come back every Thursday and now most Tuesdays. Keep an eye on the schedule. Take a look at the Unity Discord events or the YouTube page for all of the upcoming streams and when to hop in and check them out. Again, today we're going to be celebrating Steam Next Fest with a showcase with the creators. If you are watching live, please be aware this is a conversation. We want to hear from you, and we want to hear what demos you have been playing from the Steam Next Fest this February. Please let us know in the chat what you've been playing, and if you are watching this as a VOD after the fact on YouTube, take a look at the navigation bar at the bottom of your screen as it will be chaptered and you can hop ahead to whatever sections most appeal to you. But again, welcoming in all of our friends watching both on Twitch and YouTube. We've got Revolver Oliver, we've got The Bull, Lone Luminary Dev, welcome on in. On the Twitch side, we've got Emerson Games, we've got Men, we got Maxit Games back here on YouTube, Jim Flask, and everybody have a great time with today's show. That's what we've got going on today. I hope you all are excited. We're going to be sitting down and chatting with the devs from Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. Yes, that's an awesome game. And yes, I will say the title correctly more times throughout the show, I promise. We're also going to be talking about TMNT Tactical Takedown, a wonderful game called He Is Coming, and we're going to be closing out the show with Monster Train 2. So everybody, fantastic to have you here. I think it's time that we get this show started. Steam Next Fest is a very exciting time for indie devs around the world and is a big opportunity for those devs to stand out of the crowd on Steam to help celebrate. We're going to be diving into these demos and we're going to get things started with Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. Got it right that time. We're going to show you the trailer and when we come back, we'll be joined by Zalavir, the creator. And with that, roll the clip. And with that, we are back. Zalavir, thank you for joining us. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, happy to have you here. Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 has been all the rage. I have to, before we even get started with it, from a colleague of mine, they said, to let you know, they said, tell Zalavir I played Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 last night, and it's one of the best games I've ever played, exceeding even my expectations. What a gem. So, just to set expectations for everyone here hanging out live, that's what we're getting into today.
That's wild. We're so I'm so happy to hear that, and we're so glad to have seen people in Steam Next Fest react the way they have to the game, because we're making a game that's a match 3 Metroidvania, that's a Metroidvania, but drilling into all the genres we're mixing together there, it's survival horror, it's match 3 Metroidvania, comedy, RPG. There's just a bunch of stuff stuffed into this game, and it has a really weird structure and sort of way of looking at match 3 that at minimum isn't seen very often.
That's definitely, it feels like a very unique iteration on the many genres that it touches, because we've got Revolver Oliver on the YouTube side saying Candy Crush roguelike, and then I want to read the Steam description, because I think it does two things. It both sets the stage perfectly and will confuse you more. So this is what it says: match DNA bubbles in an underground lab to keep your psychic clone from invading your mind and turning you into a cannibal. This is a match 3 survival horror comedy RPG Metroidvania you didn't know you needed. Who wrote that?
That was me.
Good.
And that is a thing that actually happens in the game. So the idea of not building a roguelite, but like making a very intentional. A lot of the origin of it was I played Puzzle Quests years ago, and I said, man, this is really fun. This is really compelling. I mainly use match 3 to hit things. And what I feel the game demonstrated is you can use match 3 for combat. You can use it to negotiate with the guard. You can use it to lockpick a door. Match 3 could be a metaphor for doing anything in the game if you were galaxy brained enough to apply that. And so for years, we pulled together like this technology and tool set to say, how do you make a more expansive version of, like basically, how do you make an RPG in abstract? For me, as a writer, award-winning writer who hates writing, I was like, man, you can make an RPG without all the writing bits. Instead of having to negotiate with a guard by going through a 10 levels deep dialogue tree, you can just cut to a match 3 sequence where the player actually, by virtue of what they're doing and what they're choosing, ends up influencing their character, and make that actually gameplay, cross that narrative gameplay divide. And people are like, I don't want to read in a game. It's like, that's fine. You'll eat a book. Also, you'll use match 3 to hurl paintings at a flying dinosaur. All of those mechanical foundations were really prevalent, and we pitched it around publishers, and people were like, I have no idea what to do with this. I don't think anyone's going to get this or play it. And now here we are, and even without all the tutorialization and the polish that's going to be in the final release, people clicking with it and understanding what all of that is intending to do is so gratifying, and we're so thankful.
That's awesome. I think we should just dive in. We can continue this conversation. I'm sure if anyone in the chat has questions, we can bring them in as well. But I think we should definitely dive in. I'm going to let our guests play their own demo so that I'm not bumbling around like a moron and they're able to actually show off the things that they want to see even better. But Zalavir, you ready to go on the demo side here?
Ready to go.
Okay. I'm really excited for this. It has like all of my favorite things combined into one here. We've got creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. Did the development start with the title or end with the title?
Development began with sort of a concept of basically what the expansive way I wanted to use the system. The original game that was going to be attached to that mechanical idea was going to be called Party Horse. It was going to be about a police horse who accidentally got cocaine dumped into its feed bag and then went on a rampage through a city, basically pursuing endless stimuli on a roguelite journey to reach the police evidence locker, which, as we know, is where all of the drugs are.
Right.
So really leaning into that was one potential idea of how we would use those systems. But what got landed on instead was Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, a game I've wanted to make for about 10 years.
No way.
A sequel to a series that does not exist.
Yeah, that's an important thing to point out to people. And as I was leading into today's stream, I have mentioned it a number of times, but there's no 1 or 2 to this series, correct?
Correct. So when it's talking about the Lazoria Prehistoria incident, all of that is us in very direct kayfabe, I think that's how you say it, saying, yeah, Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 1 and 2 definitely exist. They don't exist. So
I
you got...
mean, you've got comedy right in the description, one of the 7 genre tags. So, I mean, it makes sense. It's working well here.
So you got JJ Hardwell, our avatar, who will soon learn that he's inside of a video game. And between you and me, he's not just in a video game, he's in a game that's been canceled, to talk about the current state of the industry in this wild...
There's a commentary.
Match 3 Metroidvania. It's a commentary and satire of where the industry is at. So when you find the producer resignation from this cursed hell project because of how management and executives have so torn it apart, it comes with a character then blowing them, like the character delivers the producer resignation, and then as an FU to both the player as well as the code base of the game you're inside of, blows themselves up. And if you don't have enough health to tank that hit, you just die. The producer's like, I'm done with all of you, and then goes.
That's incredible. I'm really excited to see some of this. For me personally, I'm a big fan of Metroidvanias, yes, but Match 3s for me, underrated. Match 3 battlers, I'm into those. Like fun phone games, one hand because I'm riding the train and I need to hold on. That's my kind of jam. So I'm really excited to see that you're taking a Match 3 and then adding so many layers to it. And like you said, from a mechanics perspective, everything, just go back to matching 3. Go back and keep doing it, which I think is awesome.
And as you can see, our approach to RPG style stuff is not boosting a charisma stat or anything. The stuff that you do applies traits to your character that can then get used to unlock other things throughout the game. So that's where the Metroidvania foundation comes from. As you can see, I observed my surroundings, and that boosted a trait called Keen Eyes that when I have it unlocked, any time that I can use Keen Eyes to get a special dialogue option, that's now been opened. You can eat a book in this demo and in the final game. If you get that, it adds a little thing called Feral to your character. Now, after that, there will be opportunities to bite things or eat things or do the feral action. And you've unlocked those routes and those possibilities because of other wild things you did. So,
yeah,
playing the game, doing weird stuff, and that applying tags to your character that let you do more weird little guy goblin things across the entire project is the root of Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3.
I think it's fantastic. And you mentioned it earlier, almost by accident, but I've heard you say it before. Metroidvania 3, is that a term that you have coined? Do you think you are the first to have used it? Should we get copywriting on these?
So I would never patent this because, as we especially saw with the monolith closure, patenting game mechanics hurts everyone. But we're calling a Match 3 Metroidvania a Metroidvania and trying to see that in to talk about what this wild genre mix is meant to do. Mm-hmm. As you can see, we've got a bunch of padlocks on this gate, and your protagonist, JJ Hardwell, he's going to match symbols to charge this action that lets him get over the gate.
Okay.
And of course, because the gate is rusty, if that gate manages to match enough triangles, it can hurt you in the process. So, like, really thinking through in each case, kind of like, as we'll be talking about later, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown is a turn-based beat-em-up. How do you translate those things over? That was a monster combo we just got, by the way.
Is that normal, or you're just absolutely crushing it today?
I'm just crushing it. We're like, okay, so if you were to take what would happen in a 3D game and just directly abstract that into, this like mechanical metaphor, what happens? It's been very exciting to explore different variations of that. And as you can see, middle age comes for us all. So JJ, because he's hopped over this gate, now has a developing calf injury that once you have that, you can again use that to explore possibilities across the mansion.
That's very, very fun. We are seeing a couple of questions coming in from our chat. Keep them coming, gang. If you have any, we'll try and get them asked here. For example, Mr. Awesome says, what was the percentage of dev time spent on polish versus base mechanics?
I'd say about equal. A lot of the polish of the tool set ends up polishing the gameplay. So, I mean, getting some match 3 working didn't take the most amount of time, but adding all of our particular layers and unlocks and progression and figuring out the most exciting way to present all of that ends up having this recursive effect where everything impacts everything else in a positive way.
I know you mentioned that this is a game you've wanted to make for about 10 years. So the Bull's asking how much of the game was carefully planned versus like developing on the fly. Knowing that you've wanted this for 10 years, how much of it did you have in mind before you finally sat down to make it?
So I'll be real. Name came first before anything. I was like, it needs to be a game called Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. So when it came time to actually make this version, it wasn't even necessarily supposed to be this genre. I just realized, oh, this game that I want to make can fit this mechanics that I've been deeply interested in at the same time. So it was getting 2 birds with 1 stone there.
Absolutely. So we're seeing this is now a combat scenario against a raptor, which I love. More raptors in games, please.
Your first time encountering a raptor, words fail you, breath fails you, and if I had steel shoulders, I could do a shoulder bash in this combat encounter with the things that I've unlocked, but I don't have that right now. All I have is using my knowledge from the ATS First Aid Seminar, the ability to do first aid if I get jacked up. So we'll see how often I have to use that in this piece of combat.
It's always interesting to me to see the amount of innovation off of what is like such a well-known history game mechanic, right? Match 3 is Bejeweled. It's been around forever, but to see people come back and innovate on it, I think also interestingly, that's Balatro of last year. Seeing them be like, hey, no one's innovated on poker in a long time. And we're like, okay, wow, crushed it. There's always a level of creativity that devs carry that surprises me. Because I'm like, oh, we've definitely tapped out that approach. There's nothing more we can do with it. And then we see this. And
it's the joy of indie development, right?
Yeah.
Like we're the studio that brought you Clickolding, a game which is about clicking a little tally counter and being made to feel very uncomfortable in the process. And the idea that from where Strange Scaffold comes, any game is worth making as long as we can make it efficiently in a way that means that we aren't risking the studio to do something weird. Yeah. So Space Warlord Organ Training Simulator, Life Eater, a horror fantasy kidnapping sim, all of these things get to exist because of the processes we use and the fact that we embrace indie development as an opportunity to do this weird, cool stuff. And I took a little bit of a health hit, but I did survive my first raptor encounter, which is exciting.
That's fantastic. This is... I've been so excited for this. We've been in the works with this for a couple of weeks, and now being able to see it and chat with you about it, it's fantastic. How, just speaking more generally about your Steam Next Fest experience, how many games have you had in Steam Next Fest in the past? This isn't a first time for you, correct?
No, we try to do it for pretty much every game we make at this point.
Cool. Do you feel that it is a necessity as a smaller studio to kind of get the word of your game, the word of mouth spread a little bit more?
I think that just in general, any opportunity that players can get to have their hands on a game, to have the context for when they first experience or hear about a game be a distinct moment of excitement. I think that's so important, especially in this time. Mm-hmm. And Steam Next Fest is the #1 event that people use for that, because it's the one. If you want an exciting, distinct reason to try a demo for a Metroidvania with a name that's too long, what better occasion than Steam Next Fest?
Yeah. So, have we already encountered the redneck portion of this? Like, I see dinosaurs, I see mansions, there's creepy vibes, I get it. Have we encountered the redneck side of it?
I see JJ starting to find the holes in his own perception, and he wonders why he keeps thinking protagonist thoughts, why he keeps remembering lore points. If you are speaking, I can't hear you anymore, by the way.
Oh, no?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh, we're back. We're back.
Yeah, sorry I was running over you if I was running over you.
No, we managed to speak and then stop and then speak again without any major issues. So as long as you can hear me now.
Amazing, yes.
We're in a good spot.
So I need the Steel Shoulders trait not just for combat encounters or for puzzles later on, but for things like this event, breaking down a door. So I'm going to try to find a key. And I do manage to find one, but it's past a Brontosaurus leg that has burst through the ceiling and is filling an entire hallway. So thinking about the realistic implications of having a Brontosaurus that got cloned by this super scientist in the swamp bayou, I'm going to have to try to creep forward while he's doing little wiggles and shifting slightly. I'm too small for him to even care about me. But he's going to end up potentially squeezing me to death just because he's a happy little guy having a good time in this little hallway.
I love that the headshot of sorts is just shoulders and neck. Perfect.
Absolutely. I don't know if we're going to end up using it in the final game, but we do have a variant of this where his little clubfoot is also holding up a gun still in this headshot perspective, and it's one of the funniest things I've seen in my entire life. Okay,
so I guess there's an added layer of strategy here, knowing what they're attempting to collect, and you have an opportunity to essentially deny, correct?
Yeah, we're fighting over blue gems right now, and if I really want to make sure that he can't use his little wiggle, which will break a bunch of stuff and obviously allow him to get a giant combo, I would be wanting to match in that moment these skulls. A lot of it is again coming from the perspective of, you know what? Match 3 is just another tool you can use for gameplay, and it's kind of wild that we only associate it with, exploitative mobile games. Let's do something special here.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And it looks like you're aiming for progress. And do all of these moves do damage? You have a stress meter now. How do you accumulate stress?
I do have a stress meter. There's a variety of things in the mansion which can accumulate stress. And when you gain enough stress, our take on the whole stress sanity meter tradition is it spins a giant wheel like a game show. And wherever it lands, that's the bad thing that happens to you. Because if it's presented like a fun game show, then the horrible thing that happened to you isn't horrible. It's just a cool little event you went through, and I'm not using that to justify any of my own trauma.
It's whimsical that way. Hooray.
It's whimsical that way.
Looking at our time and just being aware of it, I feel like we should finish off this fight and see if there's any final things that we want to chat about, because we got a lot more show, and this is not the only thing that you are showing yourself as well.
No, really excited to talk about our other game in the Steam Next Fest. We managed to convince Paramount to let us make a turn-based beat-em-up for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that not only takes the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to a place they haven't been before, but also kills off Splinter and Shredder before the game even begins, so we can tell a coming-of-age story that you haven't really seen before about what the Turtles do as they grow up and start to grow apart naturally as people.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. I've checked out the trailers, some of the demo as well. I'm excited about that. Before we close the book on Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, is there anything else that we need people to know about? We've been putting the links in there. Everyone should get in there and check them out as well. Go and play this demo. Go and play this demo. It's so fun.
We hope it surprises and brings people joy. If you're interested in what Strange Scaffold makes or how we make it, you can follow us everywhere at Strange Scaffold. Of course, please play and wishlist Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown and Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 at the Steam Next Fest. And keep a lookout for the other games that we've got coming along the way, because among other things, We have a co-op kaiju horror cooking game that we will be unveiling later this year, because we're always making something new, and we're always trying to see how we can make games better, faster, cheaper, and healthier to provide more distinct, weird experiences our players didn't know they needed.
It feels like you're creating games just for me at this point. More kaiju in games as well, please. We're going to roll the trailer in a moment here for TMNT Tactical Takedown. Do you want to come back right after and just chat about it really briefly?
That sounds great.
All right, sounds great. And with that, enjoy this trailer for TMNT Tactical Takedown. Again, I just mentioned that you're making games for me specifically. TMNT is a big part of my nostalgia. I have 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 TMNT posters / pieces of art on my wall in the other room. So let me start there. Was TMNT a big part of your childhood as well, Salavi?
Big part of my childhood. It was just something, I feel like maybe this is a simplification, but I feel like everyone loves the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Everyone has their version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mine was the 2003 show. And so as a kid, I think just organically, if only through synthesis, the idea is, you know who's cool? Those guys. Those guys are cool. But outside of that sort of more casual fandom, I didn't really have that deeper collect art level obsession with the TMNT until later in life, when I realized, especially as just a storyteller, I've now worked on things like South Park and Stranger Things. Man, with the right crew and with the right partnership, you can honor the TMNT and take them to new places in a really special way. And that's culminated in the game that people are able to play now.
I'm very excited. Again, not only TMNT, but I love a tactics style game. And you mentioned it earlier, how did you take the brawler style, I guess, gameplay that they're known for, but even beyond that, like in the cartoons and the shows, that's what you're seeing is this brawler style. How did you translate that into kind of the tactics approach?
A lot of it was actually coming from a previous game that we've been in development on, which is called Teenage Demon Slayer Society. We, again, looking for what's the interesting artistic limitation that lets us build a really compelling experience for players. I said, okay, there's a really interesting opportunity to make a character action game that I can play as my reflexes begin to decay. And I find as I'm playing Devil May Cry 5 that I cannot hit the button combos I'd like to hit. You can break down all of their interactions, like swinging the sword, into sub actions and get the same joy of juggling enemies. And, you know, in the case of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, kicking them off buildings, but you just break it down into the individual steps leading up to that kick. A lot of this was also inspired by Hitman Go and how it managed to translate the thought of Hitman into a playset with figurines. So we've got these TMNT figurines in a very granular way saying, okay, if in this single player experience, if you control a single character, what does it mean to embody them in a step-by-step process? So you hit leap, you leap to that tile, you think through in a tactical way your overall actions, but the speed at which you're doing it is much closer to a real-time experience. And really confronting my tactics fatigue, because I love turn-based games, but I often run into circumstances where I'm like, I'm just going to play XCOM again. I don't have time to learn a new system.
Yep.
It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Making a tactics game that you can go brain off in sicko mode and be like intuitive and reflex based in was a really exciting challenge. We managed to crack it for one of our previous games and said we can use that tech to do something really special with the turtles. And Paramount apparently agreed, because they've given us this really wide range to do something incredibly special.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited for this one. Very, very excited for this one. I want everyone to go and check out this game again on Steam. We're putting links in the chat here. Go and check it out. Make sure to wishlist. Check out the demo while we're in Steam Next Fest. Zalavir, our time feels too short. It feels too short. We're going to have to bring you back for something again in the near future here. But again, congrats on these 2 demos being in Steam Next Fest. I'm very excited to play them. So inevitably, if we don't chat again on a stream, you're going to get an email from me when these games release. When can people expect to see these games in the wild? Do they have release dates already?
Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 will be available in April.
Great.
And we will have a release date for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown, which is also coming out in 2025. We'll have the final release date for people very soon. So thank you so much for the kind words and for having me.
Of course. Zalavir, absolutely incredible. I know you've been on a stream before, but it's been a while, so grateful to have you back. Thank you so much for spending the time. Have a great rest of your day.
Take care. And take care, everyone, for watching.
Yeah. And with that, Unity community, we have chatted now about Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 and TMNT Tactical Takedown, 2 awesome games. Please go and check those out. We're going to continue on with the show. Later in the show, we've got Monster Train 2. We'll be chatting with Mark Cook from Shiny Shoe over there. But coming up next, we are going to be talking to Nicholas from Chronicle about He Is Coming. We're going to show you that trailer. And when we come back, we'll be chatting with Nicholas. So we'll see you all in a moment. Roll the clip.
Foretell of impending doom. At night, in darkness, the dangers grow bold, stirred into frenzy by powers of old. Synergies, treasures, strategies abound, dangers and villains, sure to confound. You must not grow weary, as time will not wait, for he is coming to determine your fate!
And with that, welcome to the show, Nicholas! How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing good.
Good.
Happy to be here.
Good. We're glad to have you as well. Now, you are not tuning in anywhere near me. I'm in North America. Where in the world are you?
I am in a small town called Örnsköldsvik in Sweden.
Sweden. Well, thank you, because I know it's evening where you are. It's 9:40 a.m. for me. But it is not that time for you. So thank you again for taking a piece of your day. We've got the producer in chat asking me to spell the name of your hometown, which I don't think I'll be able to do. Of course, we've got He Is Coming, which we'll be talking about. We'll be playing through some of the demo, but tell me a little bit about yourself, Nicholas. How long have you been making games? And is this your first Steam Next Fest experience?
Yeah, so this is indeed my first Next Fest experience. And this is more or less our first game that we made fully. I mean, we made some prototypes before, but nothing that we finished or anything. I've been working on games a lot on my free time, maybe for like 5-ish years, I think so. But,
so this is an exciting moment then. How has Steam Next Fest been for you so far? I know that it just started this week. The demo's out there in the wild. We're going to be showing it off a little bit and getting some people to play it. But how's the experience been for you?
I mean, it's been great, honestly. Like, got a great reception on the game and stuff. I've been watching videos like every day.
That's great.
It's super fun to like see other people play it and stuff. So yeah, it's been amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really excited to get into it and watch you play it again so that you can just showcase it as best as you would like. But also wanted to bring in some comments. Mr. Awesome saying a little bit old school Ultima feel. The Bull likes the old school vibes. The trailer's freaking awesome. From Manu, one of our Unity people here as well, a previous host of live streams, which is great. Dragon Nira saying, hey, I liked your game. So already from what people have seen, we're very, very excited. I want to go into the blurb here. So on Steam, it says, deep in the forgotten corners of the world, a dark force stirs. I feel like I should be using a trailer voice. The Demon King rises once more. Sharpen your wits, seek out powerful artifacts, and stand firm in the face of the apocalypse in this roguelite RPG auto battler. Very nice. How do you typically describe the game to anyone that doesn't know and doesn't read that? If I just approached you and you're like, hey, I made a game, how do you tell people what it is?
Well, my first go-to is just say like it's a roguelike auto battler, but a lot of people that's not very familiar with games and stuff don't know what that is. So then I have to kind of break it down a bit. Like, oh, it's like this old 2D pixel art kind of game.
Yeah.
I often bring up like it's like an old NES game, like 2D and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the art style is striking. I think it's definitely like as soon as you watch the trailer, two things stand out. Well, three things for me. I like the UI. I like the battle setup. The art style is obviously the most striking element of it, but for me, I also like the music, like the sound design, the music, and also the narrator did a great job in the trailer. So I'm really excited for it. I feel like, Nicholas, if you're ready, we can just dive in, get to playing. We can continue to chat. I think it's great. The Bull calling out, it has big NES energy. So right aligned with how you typically describe it, it seems. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Sounds great. So we can pull it up here. Absolutely beautiful. So this is your demo. This is available in Steam Next Fest. We would love for people to wish list this as well. We have the links that'll be going into chat. We'll continue to make sure that they are there for you as well. Nicholas, whenever you're ready, you dive right in.
Yeah. So we got 2 game modes here to begin with.
Oh, okay, great.
Woodland is like the story mode, like the main mode. And the Kingmaker is our newest mode that's featured now for Next Fest. It's like an asynchronous multiplayer mode. But I think we're going to keep it a bit simple and we're going to go with the Woodland.
Sounds perfect.
So yeah, here we are.
Nicholas, can we get you to just move your mouse off the screen? I think it's coming through on the screen share.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Beauty.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right. So, for those that have not seen this game before, the main thing is like in 3 days, there's basically a boss or a bad guy that's coming to get you. Hence, he is coming. So whenever we make a movement on this overworld map here, you see the timer on the top of the screen is moving down.
Oh, okay.
And when it reaches the red skull, then it's boss time. So what we're get stronger before we face off against the boss. So there's like different items with different stats. They all do different things. I think. Let's see what this boss does. The Ironstone Golem.
Oh, okay.
So, when exposed, Ironstone Golem loses 3 attack. So exposed is when he loses all his armor for the first time.
Okay, great.
And this guy got a lot of armor.
Okay.
So you can see in his description there that he has 5 health, 4 attack, 15 armor, and 0 speed. So we're gonna want to do a lot of damage to remove his armor. I think is the best option.
Are there a number of different types of bosses? Is that part of the kind of the roguelite side of it? You're getting a different boss every time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's like this pool of bosses that it's randomized.
Okay, gotcha.
We're gonna go with the Horned Helmet, I think. Get some armor.
Yeah, the vibes from this are immaculate. This brings back like all of the nostalgia, like you said, NES, just absolutely, the mood set by the music and the visuals is fantastic here. Yeah, our producer calling out the fog of war effect as well as you kind of move through and discover the map a little bit. Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
My friend, who I'm working on the game with, called Simon, is a big fan of Heroes of Might and Magic.
Oh, cool.
So there's definitely some inspiration there from like the Fog of War and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
this is awesome. So you have a bear chasing you now?
now I have bear chasing me.
Yeah.
And we're not really equipped to fight him. So when it turns to night, the monsters like wake up and start to hunt you down if they see you. So we're just gonna have to try to avoid this as best we can.
Oh no.
And this is unfortunate.
Okay.
I think we're gonna pick the wolf or the bear. I think we have a better chance.
Okay.
So this is the auto battle section where it just plays out the battle more
That's
or less.
great. So you have speed controls naturally, which is great. But so basically what you're doing is largely making the choices around how you're building out your armor and weapon sets, and then the battles just take place on their own. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
I'm a big sucker for like games where you can like make your own builds and theory craft and stuff. So
Of course.
this is good stuff for me. I think let's equip a weapon. I think because right now we just have a wooden stick.
Using a wooden stick. Okay.
That deals 1 damage, so we're definitely due for an upgrade. I think.
Mhm.
Let's pick that featherweight blade. And let's keep. Oh, all right. Well, now we're gonna have to fight a bear.
Oh, dang. I wasn't even looking. So I saw it's a question mark on your map as you have a like something just on the edge of the fog of war. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna be fine. It's just a bear.
It's just a bear, naturally. While that auto battle plays out, bringing in some comments from the chat here, we've got Thetra saying, very well polished gameplay. It does look stunning. It feels like you hit the mood for it exactly. We've got Shikhar Singhal, I hope I got your name right, asking how long did this take? How long was your development cycle so far?
So I mean, we've been working on the game for a little bit over a year. I think we started in like December or January a year earlier. So, but we put out a demo in April. So we've been working on it for a while, I'd say. But...
That's great. And is it just the two of you on the team?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we're kind of I do all of the art. I do the music, like audio stuff, and my friend does the programming. And we're kind of splitting on the design and stuff.
That's awesome. I know we've already got some compliments from Z Cubed VR in the chat about the music. They like the music a lot, and I do too. This is awesome. This is right up my alley. I swear to God, I didn't plan this, and I'm not the type of person that I love every video game. I have very specific games that I like, and every game we've seen today, I'm like, yeah, this is my jam. This is my jam. So I really like this. This is so cool. So we're getting stronger. You've got a sword now. You have magical earrings, is that right?
Oh yeah. So these deal 1 damage every other turn.
So okay.
It's a bit damage over time effect.
Nice.
I think we're gonna need it because we're a bit short on damage, I think, for the boss fight. So
okay.
We'll see how it plays out.
Sure.
You can use the campfire if you want to heal up, but we're at full health, so don't really need it.
Good call.
Kind of moving on, trying to find some items.
Yeah, is it all loot based, or is there an experience system from all of these battles that you're winning as well?
It's mostly loot based.
Okay.
If you can see, we got 1 gold when we defeated the wolf, so that's like your main way of getting gold or income.
Awesome.
That you later can spend on getting like better items and stuff.
Yeah, are there shops on the map and things like that? Is that one right there?
This is a lookout tower which expands our viewing. We can also go into map mode.
Whoa!
So for example, this is a merchant that we passed earlier, but we didn't have any gold back then, so
okay. Great.
So let's see.
This is very cool.
Yeah, so actually what we could do is we could go to this waypoint which we took earlier. So it's like fast travel. And then,
Great.
We can travel back up to this merchant and see if he's got anything useful.
I thought the merchant was a goblin. I was going to try to attack. I would have tried to attack him. I'm glad that's not an option.
I don't think he would like that.
Do you have a sense of how many items are available in the game, kind of spread across everything?
That's a great question. Not really sure. I think around at least 300 items. I think.
Whoa! Okay.
And then we're gonna we have plans to make 2 other areas that all have their own individual item pool. So there's gonna be a lot of items.
That's awesome.
In the final
300.
game.
Wow. Okay. Is it something that you have access to more of them based on the roguelite progression? Like as you get through and complete runs, are you unlocking them, or are they all available in every run?
Yeah. So it's basically like this. It's challenge based. So right now the pool of items is quite small, but you can do like challenges to unlock new items.
Cool.
So I've done a challenge earlier to unlock the horned helmet, for example.
That's great.
And then I have some unclaimed ones here that will also give me items, but it's just like achievement stuff. So if you defeat this boss, you get like a new item and it gets added to the pool, so you can find it in your next run. All right. So we're getting pretty close to the boss. So I think it's pretty much sink or swim right now.
Okay. This is very, very interesting. So 15 shields. We're trying to knock them down so that they lose their attack and weaken them.
Fortunately, I managed to buy a big damage item.
Oh,
so I think we might be fine.
Okay.
We'll see.
I know with this type of game, with any sort of roguelite, there's always the question of like the difficulty tuning. How often do you feel that people are going to succeed versus having to hop back in for one more round?
Yeah, I mean, we have done a lot of tuning. Since we released the demo in April, a lot of people have played it and left feedback, and we iterated on that feedback a lot. So I think like right now we're in a pretty good place, I feel, at least with Woodland, where it's not too hard, but it's not too easy either. It's kind of like a curve. Like the more you play, the better you get.
That's awesome. And so we beat the boss fight, and you can keep going. Is it literally just go until you can't go anymore, go till you can't go no more? Or is there like a point where you're like, whoa, you've cleared them all, congratulations?
Yeah, so if you notice, when we defeated the boss, we got 2 more item slots.
Oh,
so
okay.
Now we have room for more items, which will make us even stronger for our next boss fight.
Gotcha.
And it's basically for every round there's 3 bosses in total. So if we defeat this one, and then the next one after that, then we clear the run.
Okay. Well, then I don't know if we'll get through all 3, but if I talk less, that seems like a possibility.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, you keep rolling, and we'll just keep it going. I know that we've got another question coming in from the chat. Gang, Unity community, if you're out there out there watching, if you have any questions for Nicholas about the game or about Steam Next Fest, the demo, any of that sort of stuff, feel free to let us know. Like Thetra said, do you think about releasing this game on PC only, or also things like mobile? The controllers might translate well over there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. We talked a bit about this. I think first and foremost we're gonna go with PC to just like finish the game and release it and stuff. But we're definitely interested in like mobile, maybe Switch, maybe.
Great.
I'm not sure.
Great. Well, Angie's in chat saying I want this on Switch, so it seems like you got at least one.
Yeah, I mean we definitely know it's like a good fit because of like how easy it is to play. Like it's very easy to like just pick up and play. It's very fast. Like a run doesn't take very long, so it's like I can definitely see something like where you have it on mobile and you just play a run on your phone when you're on the train on your way home or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I think it's a great fit. So we're definitely we'll see what we can do there.
I'm right there with you. And for this, I also like a lot that like you mentioned, to play through a round isn't super long. It's not like you're spending 20 minutes. So that one more round, it both hooks you more and it feels less intimidating, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't feel like I need to, when I go for one more round, I'm not going to wake up it's not going to be 5 a.m. by the time I stop.
Yeah. And for those who are wondering why I'm defeating enemies without going into battle, is we have like this quick battle mode.
Oh, great.
If you want to skip the battles straight
So
up.
maybe we make it to the end then. Maybe we make it to the end of the run.
We'll definitely speed it up a bit.
Great.
Let's see, what do we get? Select this, I think.
Lulu on the Twitch side asking, was the icon design inspired by Super Mario Bros. 3? I can totally see that on the map overview.
Oh yeah. It wasn't, but I also can see the similarities.
Great.
So I can see where you're getting that from.
A little Bob Ross happy accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So you can add elemental to your weapons. This is cool. This has got depth. When you said 300, I started to get an idea of the sense of scale here, which is very, very impressive. Is there a rarity system to the weapons? I'm seeing kind of those colored nodes in the top right corner.
Yeah,
Is that what
exactly.
that is?
So
Okay.
from regular treasure chest, you get like common items, which is like the lowest tier. Merchants sell rare items and sometimes heroic items. But you can also find heroic items in like special events and stuff.
That's great.
So there are definitely some tiers, and the higher the tier, often the better the item.
Sure.
So yeah.
I know it came through chat earlier as well. Is there like a magic or spell casting system in the game?
Not at the moment.
Cool.
Might be something we might use in future areas.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna have to wait and see a bit.
Is this a demon reindeer?
Yeah, something like that, I think.
I know a few of those. I got you.
So the Swift Strike Stag strikes 3 times per turn. So
Wow.
we're gonna take essentially 9 damage a turn. So we wanna finish this battle fast, but I think we might be good actually.
Oh, because we've got armor as well. I missed that. That's on me. This music, the boss fight music is fantastic.
Thank you.
Of course. Another one done. So you're through 2 bosses. Do you think we can speed run in the next 3 to 5 minutes to get through this last level?
Yeah, I'll try.
Sick. Great question from Mr. Awesome. Do the enemies scale by your stats or by area?
They scale by how many bosses you defeated.
Great.
So before the first boss, all enemies are level 1, and after you defeated the first boss, everyone is level 2, and so on. So they get
cool.
stronger the longer you play.
That's great. How are you
at this
getting
point-
health back? From
Yeah,
these
I'm not
fights?
even taking damage at this point because of how much armor I have, and also this Redwood Cloak
There we
has
go.
the ability Battle Start
makes
if your
sense.
health is not full.
That
So
makes
that-
sense. Yep.
So I'm kind of just farming these enemies for health right now.
Honestly, I'm excited to see how this last boss fight plays out. We also have Shikar Singhal asking, where did you make the art? What tool did you use?
For the art, I just use paint.net.
Oh, okay.
It's like a super free to use program. It's very similar to like MS Paint or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't really need any fancy tools to make like pixel art and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of go for it.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot on these streams as well, that the right tool is the one that works for you, right? And if you have the knowledge and experience in a specific tool and it gets the job done, like we're seeing the results of it. It's what worked for you and it looks great.
Yeah. I might also use that. I might add that I use A-Sprite for the animations and stuff.
Oh, great.
That's not something that you can do in Paint.net, but I really like otherwise just the shortcuts and stuff in Paint.net I'm really used with.
Mhm.
So I use that for just like doing static art.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so we're getting closer to the boss. I think should get at least one more item.
Okay.
See what we can get.
I also like that your character canonically is wearing 2 hats right now. 2 helmets.
Oh yeah.
I like it a lot. I always like it. I know it doesn't make any difference, but in my head canon, it's fun that way.
Yeah. I imagine they like stack on top of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you're going one and then the other one's high. For me, they're both just like one is slightly bigger and they're both snug. So there's other kind of like randomly occurring events that take place on the map. Like you just talk to a fairy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there's like these events, but there are also like rare events that happens only occasionally, and which gives you the chance to get like a really rare item or something.
Yeah, that's great.
So there's, I really like the exploration element of this game. Like you're never gonna be sure like what you're gonna find around the corner.
Yeah.
It's kind of what drives you to move around in the overworld, I think.
Yeah, that curiosity and the kind of like exploration.
Yeah.
It's really well done. Like we talked about the fog of war effect. It keeps people going.
All right.
So you're right up against this last boss here.
Yes.
And you're just making choices on kind of your final weapons. Good. Now you have 4 chest pieces on. So you've got 2 vests, 1 vest, 2 pieces of mail, and a big cloak. So
yeah, and we're gonna
indestructible.
Oh, we'll see about that. Because this boss, unlike other bosses, he doesn't have like a special ability, but what he does have is 50 health and 7 attack.
Health. Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna be tanking a lot of damage, and
Okay.
hopefully doing a lot of damage. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, good luck going into your final boss here. I like his shovel.
Oh yeah. All right.
How do you go about naming your bosses? Is there a strategy? Is there rhyme or reason?
That's a good question. Often we just go based on the visual. Like we have like there's this one boss that's a mountain troll, and he's just called Mountain Troll. So
It's effective.
Sometimes it's pretty easy. But we've drawn a lot of inspiration from like Nordic and Norse mythology and stuff.
Sure.
So it's always pretty fun.
Oh no! Did we
Oh.
die with 5 health left?
Yeah, it was close.
It was close. So then you get to see your unlocks, the roguelike plays in, and you get to hop right back in, because
Yeah.
that's exactly how I play these endlessly, and I lose days of my life.
So now we locked the Ironstone Sandals, and it
Cool.
was win against Ironstone Golem for the first time.
That's great.
So that's pretty neat. We got, alright, win against Swiftleg Stag, Swiftleg Crown. Nice. Alright, Blackbriar Blade. Oh man, there's a lot of unlocks.
Dang, you must have just crushed it. Just
Yeah,
did
apparently.
well. Yeah.
I'm surprised as well.
Yeah. We've got Mr. Awesome in chat saying, beaten by your own game. Been there. So I guess inevitably that's probably part of the developer experience.
Oh yeah, for sure. But,
Awesome. This
yeah.
is incredible. Nicholas,
That's
thank
great.
you so much for showing us He Is Coming. Again, the links are in chat. Go and check out this game. Play the demo during Steam Next Fest. It really helps these indie devs get some visibility. And sitting here chatting with Nicholas, clearly very passionate about the game, you and your team. Thank you so much for popping in to chat with us and to represent yourself and your co-creator there. Is there anything else that you want people to know about He Is Coming before we say goodbye today?
Yeah, I mean, not much. We're on Next Fest right now, so if you have the chance, try it out and hopefully wishlist it if you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's pretty much it.
Well, Nicholas, again, thank you for taking the time out of your evening to come and hang out and chat with us today. Good luck through the rest of Steam Next Fest. I hope it's fantastic and that this game gets some of the traction and attention that it so clearly deserves. So thank you again and have a great rest of your night. Everyone say goodbye. Take care. And with that, gang, we carry on. we continue on. We've got one more treat for you all. I see Mark waiting in the wings. Mark from Shiny Shoe, ready to come and chat about a very exciting follow-up game, a sequel. Monster Train 2 released their demo, I believe, last week, just ahead of Steam Next Fest. We're very excited to talk about it. We're very excited to show it off here today. And with that, I think it's time that we roll another trailer, and we'll come back and chat with Mark. So roll the clip. And with that, we are joined by the one and only Mark Cook. How are you today? Happy Thursday.
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Always a good opportunity Steam Next Fest provides to bring together indies from all over the world. And with our community full of indie devs themselves, having indies supporting indies is always a particularly exciting moment. And Monster Train 2 continues to be exciting. We have people in chat already saying that they've already seen this trailer. They're already excited. I'm bopping along to the metal soundtrack. Never been more excited. How are you feeling about this moment in time, the demo just being released and sitting in the middle of Steam Next Fest?
Well, I feel so thankful to finally be able to talk about it. Just like any developer that works in secret for a long time, it's I'm always having to like beat around the bush. People ask me what I'm working on and be like, well, it's something, it's coming. It's going to be a cool game. I got to wait. But now actually having it out there is great. And so glad to be able to share it with the world. We shadow dropped a demo a week ago at the same time we announced the game, just in time ahead of Next Fest. And it's great to be able to get some feedback from players. I think overall, we're like a super feedback driven studio. So we want to get like a lot of player feedback, and a demo is a great way to get that, and a great way for us to help improve the game as we head into launch later this year.
Yeah, I mean, as a community manager, you are speaking my language, listening to your community, engaging with them, having that dialogue, and then also as far back as just being able to finally speak about something that you've been working on in secret and being able to bring that to an active and engaged community. It has to be a fantastic feeling. How long have you guys been working on 2 now in secret?
Let's see. In terms of like full-time development, I think around 1.5 years now. So, but there had been like ideas percolating. So I don't know if you want to count that or not, but certainly been kind of considering it for a long time since Monster Train 1 came out.
Yeah, that's great. And we're going to hop in here with Monster Train 2. I have played Monster Train. It consumed a day of my life. And I was like, I have to step away from this for a moment or I just won't be able to. Mark, are you all set, ready to go, have everything you need to be able to show off this demo here?
Yep, I'm good to go.
Awesome. Then we can jump in and, guide us through this adventure. I'm sure I'll have questions. I'm sure our chat will as well, but the floor is yours.
Cool. Yeah, so Monster Train is a roguelike deck builder. And so if you're not familiar with what that means, it's basically a card strategy game where you're meant to replay many times in the kind of roguelike fashion. So it is set in hell with this crazy train that you drive. This train's called the Skull Crusher in Monster Train 2. And in our fictional world, heaven and hell are supposed to be kind of like in parity. They're opposed a little bit, but they're not really like supposed to fight unless there's some kind of outside influence that's causing that to happen. And so in Monster Train 2, there's these big bads called the Titans who are kind of throwing heaven into chaos. So in this game, we are the clans of hell, and we're going into heaven to try to get rid of the Titans and actually kind of like save heaven from these Titans because we want to restore parity. So anyways, this is where we start out. This is the Covenant Outpost. It's in limbo, the border between heaven and hell. This is where you can do all kinds of sorts of things like customize your train and so on. Unfortunately, a lot of that stuff's locked in the demo. It'll be in the full game. So I say we just go and we start a run and we jump in.
Ooh, a daily and community challenge tab.
Yes.
That always excites me. That always excites me.
When you start a run, you get to pick your clans that you're playing. The clans of hell kind of represent both the cards that appear in a run, the characters that do so, what your abilities are, kind of they have different themes. In the demo, there's 2 clans. There's the Banished, which are former angels of heaven, actually, who have been banished from heaven and are now fighting for hell.
This
And
is
the
so metal. Mark, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but this is so metal. It makes me so happy. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we went with that in the music, too, as you saw in the trailer. We've got, like, definitely a more heavy metal kind of feel to Monster Train 2. And we also have the Pyreborn, which are gold-loving dragons. So each clan has 2 champions, actually. And so there's 1 champion from the Banished and 1 from the Pyreborn in the demo. So you'll be using Fel as your champion character if you play the Banished. And if I switch to the Pyreborn, we'll be using Lord Phoenix. I'm going to go with Lord Phoenix. And so there's some other things you can see, kind of what cards you'll start with in your deck. There's some difficulty adjustment stuff here you can do. But I'll just jump in to get us going.
While we're loading this up, bringing in a question from the Twitch chat from Thetra. Regarding a sequel, how much of the first project could you reuse and cut down the time of development by using the code or the assets that you already had? How much of it was bespoke and required new focus and development time?
Yeah, so we definitely used Monster Train 1 as a starting point for this because it had a lot of the structure that we wanted to maintain. This is actually the first sequel I've ever worked on, which is interesting, and I've been in the game industry for a long time and never have worked on a direct sequel before. So I think that's been a interesting kind of thing on the design side, especially is deciding how different to make Monster Train 2 from Monster Train 1. And we have tried to maintain the spirit and what people loved about Monster Train 1 while adding in a number of new features that make it feel fresh and different and so on. But yeah, we were able to start with that code base as a starting point, which of course was a tremendous accelerator to getting started and being able to move forward.
Yeah.
So every run in Monster Train starts in limbo. So we're at that border between heaven and hell. And our goal is to get all the way through this crazy rail line that goes all the way to the center of heaven where there's this portal of corruption from the Titans in the Great Abyss. So we're trying to get to the end, essentially. And we have to make strategic decisions and defeat the corrupted forces of heaven to be able to get there. So at the beginning of the run here, I'm going to be able to choose some upgrades. So we've got some randomized artifacts here, which are kind of passive upgrades. You can either go for Breath of Heaven, which advances the back enemy unit when it enters the train. So that pulls them forward. We'll see what that means in a second. Or Sketches of Salvation, which summons a bunch of units into the train in a way that I'm not going to pick that. It's cool, but it's just going to make things a little bit harder to explain. So I'll go with the simpler one here. And you get to upgrade your champion. So all champions in Monster Train have a couple of different upgrade paths.
Oh.
So I'm in a building called the Light Forge here, where I can choose an upgrade path for Lord Phoenix, our champion. So I can either go for the Golden Crown path, where I gain the ability to gain 1 Dragon's Horde, which is a currency that only the Pyreborn have, that gives me additional rewards. And Conjure is a trigger. It says triggers when this unit's ability is activated. Or we can go with the Overlord path, where when I slay, which is a trigger when you deal a killing blow, I gain +1 attack permanently. Let's go with that. That's a little bit simpler, so we'll start with that one on this run. And then now it's time to go to a battle. We get a little preview of whom it is we are going to be fighting, with an option to turn on a trial that makes the battle even harder. So I'm not going to take that on this battle. Let's go in just to, show off an easier one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So Monster Train 2, here we are. Okay, well, first let me say we're in the train now. So we've got heaven is kind of scrolling behind us there. And our train is absolutely ridiculous. So it's a stacked multi-level vertical train. You know, trains aren't often built that way in the real world, but here in hell, you know, or we're in heaven, you know, anything's possible.
Yep.
So we've got a vertical train. And a new feature in Monster Train 2 is the deployment phase. So you get an opportunity to summon your champion and any units that have one of these blue banners on the left side, we call them banner units, into your train before the enemies enter. So that was not true in Monster Train 1. And it's a strategic way to allow you to kind of set up your defenses, so to speak, ahead of the enemies coming in. So let me think about where I want to place my units. So I'm going to summon Lord Phoenix into the middle floor here. I'll maybe put one of the shield stewards here. I also started with the Greed Dragon, who gains additional attack and health for each dragon horde we have. We don't have any Dragon's Horde right now, unfortunately, so that's not going to benefit us too much, but I'll summon him in anyways. That ability to zoom in on cards, by the way, that's another new feature in Monster Train 2 that allows you to kind of get a better look at what's going on. All right. Okay, so you have a certain amount of capacity in each room. It's this kind of element here. So these units all have 3 capacity pips, and I only have 5 capacity. So unfortunately, all my units are kind of big here, so they're all 3, which is not normal. This just happens to be the random starting conditions I have, and so I cannot actually summon this Shield Steward. So I end my turn, the enemies enter. Dismiss these tutorials. I'll talk about them myself.
You are the tutorial, Mark. You've got
the
this.
tutorial. So something that happened is this healer guy is normally behind the fallen champion here, but our Breath of Heaven pulled the back enemy to the front, which is convenient because it means the Shield Steward can just wipe him out and kill him and get rid of this pesky healer. All right, so started a new turn, drew a new set of cards. So I've got some Spear Stewards who can lay down some damage. And I've got a card here called Lava Armor, which is one of the new card types in Monster Train 2. It's called Equipment. And equipment cards can be placed on your units. They can have 1 equipment at a time. This Lava Armor equipment gives the unit an extra 10 health. And it gives them the trigger Revenge. Apply Pyre Gel 3 to the attacker. And Pyre Gel is a Pyreborn new mechanic. It's a status effect that gives +1 incoming damage per stat. So I want to protect Lord Phoenix, so I'm going to give him Lava Armor. And I think I'll keep him in the front, and I'll summon these Spear Stewards to deal some extra damage, and I'm out of Ember, which is our mana resource, so I can't cast these cards, unfortunately.
So you're managing your Ember as well as the capacity pips on each level, as well as you mentioned.
Yes, the capacity is a limiter for whom I can summon, and there's ways to grow and even shrink the capacity. And there's also ways to move units around in the train without having to care about capacity. So there's ways to break things. Like, we're all about creating fun and broken builds, and kind of think that's what makes roguelikes fun in general, is like, it's hard to get an overpowered build, but when you do, it feels cool.
It should feel so rewarding, right? And
yes,
it sounds
exactly.
like that's exactly the approach you guys have taken.
Yeah. So I can show off one of the new pieces of functionality in Monster Train 2. So units have activated abilities sometimes. So Lord Phoenix has something called Phoenix Fire. So if I click on him, it says here in the tooltips, deal damage equal to this unit's attack and apply Pyrogel 4 to all enemy units. So I'll shoot this at this backline guy just to get some damage on him. All right. So that has a 3-turn cooldown, so you pretty much want to use it every opportunity you have. Let me think what else I want to do here. I might put this Selfless Sacrifice card on Lord Phoenix as well to give him some additional defenses, so it gives him Damage Shield, which prevents the next 2 sources of damage. That card was consumed, so I can only cast it once per battle, so it went into something called the Consume pile.
Gotcha. And then you have 1 mana type resource left. Ember, it's called?
Yes, Ember.
And now you have 3 cards left. You're at 0. Do those cards get discarded?
Yep, I just, as you were speaking, I cast this Firestarter spell. I had another copy of that. And so now I'm out of Ember, and then when I enter, they just get recycled and reshuffled back around.
Oh, okay, great.
And so, unless they're consume cards, and if they're consumed, then they go into a special pile where, sometimes you can bring them back out of the consume pile, but we will not be able to do that in this run. All right, we got another lava armor. I think, let's see here. I'll toss it on the green dragon. All right. And I might put another selfless sacrifice on Lord Phoenix just to keep bolstering his defenses for the upcoming kind of level boss. All right. So here comes the level boss, Yorael the First Blessed. And the way that boss characters work in Monster Train is they are going to fight it out with whatever units you may have in that room at the end of the turn. And either you're going to win the entire battle by defeating the boss, or all your units are going to die and then they're going to move up. So it's not looking good for this floor for our units. We have these red X's are kind of indicating that's the preview that they're going to die if I just clicked end turn right now.
Okay.
The boss is showing it's going to take 50 points of damage, which is great, but not enough to kill him. So I think I'm going to cast Firestarter to it just deals 1 point of damage, but more critically adds the Pyre Gel status effect, which increases all sources of incoming damage.
Oh, okay.
So now we can see that he's taking more damage. And now I've got this other spell here called Just Cause, which moves a unit to the front of the room if you want to by casting it on one that's in the back. But also gives Valor, which is a status effect that increases attack power. So I think I'm just going to cast 2 of those on to Lord Phoenix and then end my turn. And I guess I should say, critically, my overall objective for those unfamiliar with the game is to protect this thing up here at the top. This object up here at the top is called the Pyre. It's the source of the train's power, and it also represents your health in the run. So when enemies reach this room, they trade blows with the Pyre. If your Pyre's health reaches 0, then you've lost the run. So our boss here, he blew up this floor. He's destroyed it, and it's turned into this yucky, fleshy mass.
Yep. Like most trains.
Exactly. Each boss in Monster Train 2 has been corrupted by one of 3 titans. And this boss has been corrupted by the Titan of Savagery, which has kind of got this like war and blood and guts kind of theme to it. And there's 2 other Titans that do different things, and they make their units look different. So that's something that's different from Monster Train 1 as well. All right, so I'm gonna just shoot this guy with Phoenix Fire, but it's already looking good for us. We've got the red X here. It's looking like we're gonna win the battle. I can't resist just throwing some extra damage on him. Why not?
Make the numbers go up.
Make the numbers go up. Feels good. All right. Cool. So we killed him. Unfortunately, I did take some damage to my Pyre, so my score is going down a little bit. For single-player runs, I normally personally don't pay that much attention to score, but it does matter for all the challenge modes where there's a score-based leaderboard.
Gotcha.
So where you would really care about trying to maximize that. At the end of every battle, you get rewards. So I got some coin, and you get a clan pack and an allied clan pack. So we're playing as the Pyreborn, so this is a pack of cards from that clan with 3 options to pick from. We can only pick one of these cards, or we can choose to skip all of them and get some coin. Let's see here. So we've got Pyre Cask, Consume, apply Pyre Gel 8, Pyre Ball, Explosive, and deal 30 damage to the front enemy unit. Explosive is a new keyword in Monster Train 2 that causes excess damage to blow up to every other enemy unit in the room, which is nice.
Oh, very cool.
But I might go for Golden Touch, which directly deals 8 damage, costs 2 Ember. But if we kill somebody with it, we gain Dragon's Horde, which we have some synergy with our Greed Dragon here.
Greed Dragon, that's right.
Yes, so let's go Greed. Or as one of our team members likes to say, the CEO build. Let's go for the CEO build. As much coin and greed as possible.
Oh, no.
All right, and then we get to pick a card from our allied clan, which is the Banished. And I won't go through all the different things here, but I really love the upbeat Warbler. I can't pass up the saxophone bird, so we're going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, with the very nature of Monster Train being a roguelite and a card battler, how do you manage things like condensing it into a demo? How do you make sure that people have the experience of something that can be so expansive?
Yeah, so the demo, I feel like it's fairly generous. So we wanted people to have a full run experience. And so we don't unlock all of the content within the Banished and Pyreborn clans within the demo. and we don't have all the different enemies and other things. And there's a bunch of features that are locked, but there is an entire full run that you can play all the way to the end.
That's great.
And so it is possible to make it all the way here to the Great Abyss and face a run final boss and take them out. So there's like a ton of content that's not in the demo, but there is a full run experience. Runs in Monster Train 2, we're going to be going very slow here because I'm talking a lot and explaining things and so on, but they're usually under an hour. And our top players that are fast can sometimes finish a run and win in like 20 to 30 minutes.
Whoa. Do you know of any speedrun community based around Monster Train? Because it's got to exist, right?
Yes, I do. In fact, on Monster Train 1, we did a video where the developers observed the world record at the time for a speedrun, and it was like 4 or 5 minutes, I want to say. Which was interesting. I certainly can't play that fast, so it was impressive to watch how quickly they were able to go through.
Was that with IGN?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm familiar with that series. That's a fun one for sure.
Cool. All right. So after Limbo, at each kind of gate of hell or gate of heaven, excuse me, you get to choose which direction you want to go. So if I go to the left, I get to visit the Merchant of Magic and the Pyreborn Banner. Which gives me another unit within that clan. These are the rewards that I pick up as I go. And on the right side, I get the Banished Banner, so I can get a Banished unit, and I have the Merchant of Steel. Those two merchants were in Monster Train 1, but we do have a new merchant, which is in the next area of heaven. It's called the Merchant of Arms, which sells equipment and room cards. We haven't seen a room card yet. That's another new feature in the sequel. But those are things that you can like enchant one of the rooms in your train to give it various properties. So let's see here. I'm just thinking if I want to upgrade spells more, or do I want to upgrade my units more? And I think right now I want to upgrade my spells. So I'm going to go left. I'll pick up the unit first. So I already have the Greed Dragon, so I might pick up the Hothead, which has a fire-breathing ability that deals damage to units based on its attack. So it would benefit me later to upgrade the Hothead, but for now, I can't do that because I chose the magic upgrade path. So we have our cat merchants. Every merchant type has a different cat. Let's see here. So I can reduce the ember cost of something. Give something spell chain, which causes it to duplicate when I cast it. So there's all these things you got to think about. I think I'm going to buy an upgrade that increases the damage tremendously. So it adds 20 extra damage, but gives it consume.
Oh, okay. So once per fight.
Once per battle. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I can upgrade to get -2 and consume. And add consume on this one as well, which is interesting. So I wonder if I should do that on Golden Touch, but I don't know. I might want to cast that more than once.
How often do you find yourself getting to the end of a run and having like one moment that you can link back to and you're like, that's where it all changed?
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes in Monster Train, you're trying to, on the fly, build really cool combos of synergy with your units and your spells and so on. And it takes some time to develop that in a run. In the first couple of battles, you're just like, you don't even know what you're going to see. You don't know what upgrades you're going to get. You don't know what cards you're going to get, artifacts, and so on. So you're kind of on the fly trying to determine what's the best way to bring it together. And oftentimes it's like in the second half of the run, it's either starts working and your synergies are really working well together, or you die. At least that's how I experience it, at least. But I'm far from the top player. All right. I think I might actually use some coin to remove a card from my deck. So I don't want to have these shield stewards because I have these other units that are already so big. I don't think I need 2 of those. So I'm going to get rid of one of those right now. So that's kind of like a key part of deck builders is also pruning your deck, removing cards that you don't need to be able to have a more efficient way to get your synergistic cards into your hand, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I like pruning as a term. I've not considered that, but it makes full sense here. Yeah. We're just keeping an eye on time, Mark. Do you want to go for one more battle set through your train cars here?
Yeah, let's go for one more. So This time I'll take the trial, so it's the Mind Muddler trial. Draw -1 card each turn, but I will gain 75 extra gold if I'm able to win. So that's a resource, as we just saw. We can spend it at the merchant. We can purge cards out of our deck using it as well. So oftentimes it's not essential to win, but it can strengthen you if you're able to deal with the limitations that they impose upon you. All right. So let's see here. Okay, well, I can get these two guys in the same room. So I'll put the hothead down here, and we'll try to mow down some enemies as they enter. All right.
I like that the units that you place also have dialogue options.
Yeah. They'll have little sassy things that they say, or thematic lore. It depends on the character. So this is interesting. The Breath of Heaven was great in the last battle, where it was pulling the pesky healers in front so we could kill them more easily. But in this battle, it's actually backfiring on us. The Slaven Knight gets a buff when he's in the front. It's a system called Vanguard, so applies when the unit is at the front of the floor. Let's see here. What do I want to do? Well, I think I'm gonna put my saxophone. I just have to summon the saxophone bird.
Plays a ditty?
Yes, I love that smooth jazz.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm going to blow up this room using the Hothead's ability. So, pick. And then I'll Firestarter this guy for now. So they trade blows. The enemy advances.
Loot goblin? You got a loot bag up top there?
Yeah. This is a collector enemy who's like a little, we call them treasure babies on the dev team. But you kill them and you gain 50 gold. And the kind of game design intent with those is you want the gold, so they're tempting, but you have to commit resources to killing them. We got lucky on this time because it spawned up in this room where we have the Greed Dragon. There's no other enemies and so on. But usually they spawn behind other enemies, and then if you want to kill them, you might have to commit spells, which means committing Ember to them. So it's a trade-off, and it can be perilous if you are too greedy, and then it ends up killing you.
Yep, understood.
All right. So I think I'm going to use Firestarter on this guy. There we go. I'll use my ability there. Okay, good. He's going to die now. And then I guess I'll toss the Spear Steward up here to get some damage on that floor. And then I'll Firestarter this guy. Okay.
So far, the what is it? Feat? What was the toggle that you had going into the battle?
The trial.
The trial. So far, the kind of risk reward seems like it's not hindered you so much. Seems like positive in the long run.
Yeah. So the trials get harder the further you get into a run. Sure. So they're less impactful earlier and more impactful later. But you also get more gold if you're able to win using them. But yeah, I'm drawing only 4 cards per turn instead of the default 5 because of that trial.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, it looks like Golden Touch, I'm not going to be able to kill something unless I kill one of my own guys, which I'm tempted to do because I want the Dragon Sword. So I'm actually going to kill my own guy here. Sorry, but that is an option always. And so we'll see if that pays off. But now I have a point of Dragon Sword that I can utilize at the end of the battle to get some extra loot if I so wish.
Okay. Oh, that's our boss, I imagine.
That's our boss, yep.
Okay,
so gotcha. I'm going to activate the Hothead's Fire Breathing ability. It kills the minions, which is wonderful. Put Lava Armor on Lord Phoenix. And I think I'm going to give him the shields, too, in my turn, just to protect him, because my guy's down there on the bottom are going to be dead. All right.
Still 315 health on the boss there.
Yes. So we're showing right now we're going to deal 200 damage. So let's see what else we can do. So I'll hit him with his ability. Now we've got 240. What else can we do here? I'm going to add some more Pyrogel. Now it's 260. Now I think I need to put Lava Armor up here, I think. So I'm going to do that. And now I might, let's see what happens here to the damage preview. I might pull the bird in front as a chump blocker. so to speak, to
Okay.
use Magic the Gathering terminology. So let's see if it goes up from 260. Okay, no, that was a terrible idea. It went down to 175. So, but it's a great opportunity for me to show a new feature, which is we have the ability to undo your turn. So,
Easy peasy.
easy peasy. So when you make huge mistakes like that, you don't have to live with the consequences anymore. I did not do that on purpose. I actually thought that might be better, and it turns out it was completely wrong.
Okay. Okay. Well, convenient then.
Very convenient. So I'll just do, oops, forgot to do that. All right, I'll do that. Okay, we're up to 270 damage on this
Close.
floor.
Just absolutely wailing on each other. Okay, so
All
you've
right.
got 1 unit left. Oh, it's already
Yep.
looking good.
It's good. It's showing I'm going to win already, so I'll just shield him. I'm going to send my turn. I didn't even need to cast a shield, but
But, you
sometimes
know.
I can't help myself.
Rub a little salt in the wound sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll skip through these just to talk about Dragon's Horde real quick, which is a unique mechanic to the Pyreborn clan. So basically, as you get more Dragon's Horde, you get better loot. So at level 1, I can choose to spend the currency basically to get 10 coins. Just not that exciting, but as you go higher, it starts to get crazier. Like you start to get artifacts. You get this one gives you 2 artifacts once you get up to level 7. And then you get to make drafts of different artifacts. So anyways, the gold and the rewards get better. And there's even levels that you can unlock if you're able to find certain artifacts within a run. So we are exploring this kind of like clan-specific mechanic more in Monster Train 2, where there's like special UIs and different things that happen. And that was not something that we did in Monster Train 1.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is very, very cool. And seeing some of kind of the nuanced changes between 1 and 2 is very fun as well. I want to bring in a comment from YouTube. Revolver Oliver says, I bet this game was inspired by the New York City subway, aka a train through hell. So can you confirm or deny that was the case?
Yes. Well, I personally take we're here in San Francisco, and I use our local train system. It's called BART, which can sometimes feel like a train through hell. So I have not ridden the New York subway, but I can understand the sentiment. So yes,
Completely.
there are aspects of that experience infused into here for sure.
That's awesome. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to pop in and chat with us about Monster Train 2 here. I'm really hoping for great things. I know that you guys have already expressed that you guys have had a great time and seen some really positive results. So thank you again so very much for chatting with us.
Yeah, you're welcome. And, please check out the Monster Train 2 demo. It's on Steam now. Wishlist if you like it, and look forward to our release later this year.
Yeah. Does it have a release date already public?
No. Other
Sounds
than
good.
this year.
This year, keep an eye out for that date. We've put the link in the chat about a dozen times. Go and play this demo, wishlist this game. There's a saxophone bird, there's demons, and there's a New York subway through hell. So lots to like here. And Mark, fantastic advocate for the game as well. If the game's like, Mark should be what pushes you over the edge into going and enjoying it. Mark, thank you again so very much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your time at Steam Next Fest, and hopefully we cross paths again soon.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Take care, Mark. And with that, Unity community, we come to the end of our Steam Next Fest showcase. This is a new thing that we've attempted, bringing multiple guests in during a showcase style stream to give you access, allow you to ask questions, allow you to show off, allow us to show off to you some very, very cool games made by excellent partners here from Unity. So if this was something that you liked, we're going to continue to noodle on it and find ways to make the structure even stronger so that you guys have more opportunities and more access to this type of group. We've got the Discord for you and the discussions page for you, as always, to connect with your fellow Unity community members. We have our next stream happening next week, and it's going to be a doozy on Thursday. Oh, that's not the right thing. On Thursday, we will be joined by Dino Patty. We will be talking about how to fund your game. Dino is the co-creator of Limbo and Inside, and will be talking to us about prepping for pitches, doing your pitches, publisher relations, and funding opportunities. If you are a indie game dev or an aspiring indie game dev, that is going to be something that you are going to make sure to attend. It's going to be very, very fun. We've been prepping for this for a little while now, and Dino is incredibly knowledgeable and experienced in the industry. There's a lot to learn. So again, make sure to come and check that one out next Thursday. As always, keep an eye out on all of the Unity social accounts and community spaces for the newest and greatest in Unity news. I want to extend a massive thank you to all of our guests today who joined us, Zalavir, Nicholas, and Mark, everyone who worked together to help create this stream. We've got Julia and Michael working behind the scenes. And of course, our producer, Jack, absolutely killing it today as well. Everyone in the Unity community, thank you so very much for being here for another stream. We are live every Thursday and the occasional Tuesday, so make sure to check back for all of the indie dev related content that we can give you. Until we see you all again next time, everybody, my name's Jackson. Have a great rest of your day.